buying a piece of land on metaverse is like buying your share of the community. That ways you have certain stake in the community, and then whatever gets decided by the community is the way forward. If you would look at companies like even the biggest companies in metaverse space like Decentraland, there is no ownership. There's no, even the owners who had built the product, they don't own it anymore. It is with the DAO only. It is with the decentralized autonomous organization only now. So this is how all the applications of Web3 will evolve into. The ownership will finally go into the hands of the community. So the social media aspect of it, where the creators get the say in the entire communication, would be very important. And this is how the entire blockchain has been evolving. So where ICP fits into the entire equation? What are the biggest challenges as far as blockchain is concerned? Anybody would like to share? You can unmute yourself also and you can share. And what are the biggest challenges you see in the adoption of blockchain as a technology? Anything that anybody would like to share?
So scalability.
Scalability, definitely, that's a huge challenge.
So
Other,
it's dependence on central banks till now.
it's exactly, it's dependence on centralized servers like AWS, etc. And the biggest challenge with scalability is, I think, also two major things. That first of all, storage, decentralized storage is very costly, and second, I would say, is also the gas fees. Right, once you are basically operating on these blockchains, it is a huge challenge there because it involves a lot of cost, even to keep your dApps up and running. Any user, any interaction would cost you a bomb. So these are the biggest challenges that you face with blockchain, right? So these problems need to be solved if we see any future of these blockchain dApps in the coming years. So this is where ICP as a company would come in, and they've already been able to solve this. They've been able to solve the problem related to data also, and also related to the gas fees. And along with that, also one biggest challenge with blockchain is, I was listening to certain students a couple of days back. They were saying that immutability also at certain level becomes a challenge, because once you have deployed certain thing on the main net, then any flexibility, any future changes become a huge challenge, because then due to the immutable nature of the program, you cannot basically play around with that. This is also where ICP is kind of trying to innovate more, trying to be more flexible with things. Bandul, you would like to explain like what exactly is the future of ICP when it comes to what exactly they've been doing also on the current level when it comes to all these questions about scalability, data storage, and also immutability.
So, when it comes to scalability, so ICP has taken a very different approach. Now, they are scaling their blockchain horizontally. So, what they are doing is, for example, if you talk about any typical blockchain, for example, Ethereum. Now, how they would like to scale? For example, they have a particular number of nodes and validators in place. Now, every transaction has to be validated with every node or every validator in general. ICP is taking the horizontal growth. They are making something called subnets, and every transaction goes to one subnet, and that subnet has their number of nodes, and then they just authenticate the transaction. And once the transaction goes through, it just goes through that subnet. Now, what happens in this case is, now you can expand your blockchain, or you can scale your blockchain infinitely with these subnets. You need not to have all this. For example, if we talk about the Web2 type of scalability, that a million of transactions or millions of requests are occurring in every second, then what you can have is you need to have these kind of mechanism where these chains can expand horizontally. So ICP has done it beautifully with their tech and architecture. Talking about the immutability, so the problem with the native blockchains is they are Turing complete. What do we mean by Turing complete? That is, if you talk about any smart contract, they can run on their own. They cannot have the external parties affecting it. But if you're getting something like a social media on the top of blockchain, then you cannot fix your smart contract in the beginning itself, because the smart contract needs to interact with the other smart contracts itself. but it cannot happen in Ethereum because they are the Turing complete. That is, they are the closed loops, right? So once you code anything, you cannot change it. Now, it's good for the financial transaction. So if you're working in the financial transaction, then immutability is the good. So you need to have immutability if you are working in the financial product. For example, if I have to give you money, if you score 90% plus marks in your cohort, then it should be settled in the very first place, right? And if it's in the first place, then we cannot change it further. I cannot change the rules further. For financial transaction, immutability is good. But if we are creating a social media, then you have to evolve it with various rules. So what we are doing is with ICP, we have a mechanism called canister. So canisters can be programmed in the very first place itself that they are immutable or mutable. So, for example, if you're working in a financial tool, then okay, you can make it immutable. But if you're creating a social media out of it, then you can, make it mutable. That is, it can change itself with the new inputs, with the new information that's getting on the node. And the one canister is ready. Now the ends are open because it's mutable. Then these canisters can interact with each other also. Now imagine what can be done. For example, in Ethereum, we have built so many products with the immutable contract. Now the contracts can interact to each other. So one canister can talk to another canister, or they can talk to external blockchain there. So this will create a whole new opportunity on blockchain and what can be built on the top of Web3. For example, ICP is the only chain in this L1 ecosystem which is interacting with the Bitcoin ecosystem. So we have a technology called CK BTC, which is called chain key, which is based on the chain key cryptography, and then if the name comes from there itself, that is chain key Bitcoin. So CK BTC is something where you can interact on the ICP and then you can transact on the Bitcoin ecosystem, and you can directly transfer some Bitcoin from the Bitcoin chain itself, and and then via ICP. It will save you a lot of gas fees on Bitcoin, and it will lower the congestion on the Bitcoin network. So all these things can be built on the top of ICP because it's more open. The technology is way more advanced than just the new internet, and there are a lot of things that can be built on the top of it. Deepak, sir?
Yes. Please feel free to ask your questions also, like because this is
Yeah.
this is the best way to take any discussions forward. And if anybody is even looking for certain basics, please be open and never ever shy away from asking questions, because it is not like that everybody would be at the same page, everybody would be having that much of an exposure. So just keep asking a lot of questions, and so that we can I think get a better interaction out of this discussion. So anybody would like to ask any questions, anything that it is there on their mind, so please just be open about it.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Yes. Hi, Vedant.
Uh, so, I am a first year student here at ISM. So,
Yes.
according to you, in the blockchain space, uh, why should I be more interested towards ICP, and how should I connect this with Ethereum and all those things?
Yes. Look, to be honest, Ethereum EVM development is also very cool. I would not say that they have not done a good job, but the problem is the ecosystem is much more mature now. So opportunities are very less. If you look at all the hackathons also which Ethereum has been organizing off late, there's hardly been anything for the students. They're not giving away any prizes, not any opportunities, because they're already, I think, done with the networking effect also, and also they have enough people in the ecosystem who've been able to pump in some very good content. With relatively new blockchains like ICP, which are also fundamentally very strong, there is still a lot of scope for things. Like we were having this discussion last month with a student who was building a file storage ecosystem on EVM, and she got in touch with us. We just shared that just a month back, Dom, who's the CEO of the company, had basically announced a bounty on Twitter where he was seeking for such solutions. So on one level, where like in Ethereum ecosystem, it has almost become a very generic thing. In relatively new blockchains, such things can attract a lot of attention also. So this is a whole advantage. Like it is similar to what Google and Microsoft did 10 to 15 years back. They were very open, going to colleges, giving away a lot of opportunities, a lot of I would say giveaways to students whosoever was developing anything on their ecosystem. So this is
Adding on,
how yeah, yeah.
yeah, adding on to this, I would just like to tell you one thing that in Web3, specifically if you're part of a community, then you can incentivize yourself in a lot of ways. So we are not telling you that you should be just on the ICP or just on the Ethereum if you're part of the community. So we are creating a decentralized economy in itself, and we are trying to get the best opportunities to you. So ICP is one of the opportunities that we are with today. Tomorrow we can come up with a new opportunity, right, for you. So part of the Crewsphere community doesn't force you to be the ICP. ICP is one of the opportunities that's on the platter for you at this point of time. Going forward, if you want to get into something else, then also we'll be more than happy to help you in any particular way that we can. So I personally believe that we are not here to tell you that you should get into ICP. We are here to tell you that you should be part of Crewsphere and our community. And ICP is one of the opportunities that we are presenting you today. And tomorrow we can come up with a new opportunity. So particularly, if you want to get into Web3 or blockchain in general, you have to understand the importance of community play. Because Bitcoin in itself is a community, it's a community product. It was a community that gained so much attention, and they basically increased it so well, and they were able to publicize it, in such a great manner. So we are giving you an opportunity to be part of a blockchain community where you will have your fellows, you will have people who are also learning, who will be at your same pace, and they'll be growing with you. You can create your team. You can, if you want to run a startup, then you can find your teammates in it. If you are, if you have the product, then you can ask for a grant. If you are looking for a funding, you can ask for a VC consortium. So all of these things can happen via community. And we are not limited to ICP. ICP is just one of the picture, one of the products that we are offering you right away, and it's one of the opportunities that we are giving you right away. But going forward, we can have different opportunities as well.
Yes. Biggest advantage only with as I said, like with relatively new blockchains or relatively less explored blockchains is this, that you get to do a lot more, and even for relatively lower effort, rewards to effort ratio is more skewed in your favor. So this is the only advantage you get. But definitely, as Bandul sir also said, like the purpose is to be a part of this community. And in general, if you'll see across the blockchains also, there is no such animosity among them. It's not like Ethereum people would discourage you about ICP or vice versa. Like you can even search on net and you would find a lot of articles and a lot of videos also where like Vitalik, who's the founder of Ethereum, he has very openly spoken about ICP in very good light, that he sees ICP as its closest competitor and he really appreciates what ICP is doing, and vice versa. You would see the same thing coming from the ICP ecosystem also about Ethereum. So it's like an open community. But definitely, if you get opportunities with relatively younger setups, then I would say it's always a better bet because it's easier to rise in that ecosystem. So, any other question? So,
I have a question. So, like in our college, like those who are doing blockchain development now, they are basically on the Ethereum platform. So, is it like difficult or easy to switch to ICP?
it's exactly the same, I would say, because you have to understand all of them are based out, basically based on JavaScript only. Solidity is not that far off from JavaScript, and even the Motoko language that ICP is using is very similar to JavaScript. In fact, they're launching a framework called Azel, which should be able to convert your JavaScript programs into Motoko programs. I think it's about to get launched, or it has already been launched. I think Mandul would be having a better uh, knowledge about it.
Now, answering your question specifically, that is whether it's easier to shift from Ethereum to ICP or not. As a second year, as a college student, I would say you should explore your opportunity. Then you should get onto the best opportunity possible at this point of time, rather than thinking about the easiest route. Though the route is not difficult, but I believe that you should be open to the exploring part. As the student, it's a great opportunity for you to expand your horizons and look into the opportunities from all the ecosystem, and you should not be confined just to the Ethereum ecosystem at this point of time. As I've already told you, Ethereum must have 2 to 3 lakh the developers globally, right? And they don't have a grant pool at this point of time. Earlier, they used to have grant pool. Now, ICP has 700 developers and they have a grant pool of $220 million. So you can easily get into the top 100 and get yourself a $2 million check tomorrow, and it's very easy comparatively to the Ethereum. I've worked with Ethereum Foundation, I've worked with Near, I've worked with Polygon. The opportunities are huge. So rather than thinking about what is the easier, think about what has the best opportunity. So when you were preparing for IIT, you must be thinking that okay, it's very easier to get into maybe VIT Vellore than IIT Dhanbad, but you choose IIT Dhanbad because there was the best opportunities as compared to VIT Vellore. So you're not thinking that whether it's easier to get into VIT Vellore or IIT Dhanbad. You were thinking that where the best opportunities lie. So think it on the same lines, not from the because as a student you have a lot of time, potential, energy. You should channelize that energy into what are the best opportunities for you, rather than what is the easiest opportunity for you. So that would be my suggestion as a senior to you guys. That's my take on this.
Please keep bouncing off your question so that it will be beneficial for the other students also.
Yeah,
And I
and you
think
can do cross questioning also. Yeah, with ऐसा नहीं है कि you just have to stick with the one question. If you have a cross question and you want to ask something on the top of your last question, last answer, please feel free to do that also.
yes, please.
Sir, I have one
Sir, I
question.
have a yeah.
Yes, Shivam, you can continue.
Okay, sir, I have a question that, like, according to what I read, that ICP is trying to do is basically trying to create a decentralized internet system. So like, if you think about it, that's really huge. So like, if you like in on reality basis, how does ICP like plan to shift users from using the typical habitual internet to a decentralized system internet? Like, that's what popped up in my mind after reading everything.
That's a very good question. I'll take this up. Like first of all the applications who are basically going to be built on ICP, they have to be top class. Like even from a user's perspective, shifting from Web 2 to Web 3 is a huge challenge. I think the first of all, we have to understand why people would even shift from Web 2 to Web 3. Right now, social media, everything is on Web 2, and very, I would say, elementary use cases have come up in Web 3. So the biggest thing that we have to understand is like who are the people who are building the Web3 ecosystem. If you look at the last 5 to 6 years of history, who like people who were like the best brains in Web2 space, they've already started migrating to Web3. So it's just a matter of time when they'll start building those killer applications, and where like the user would have enough incentive to shift from Web 2 to Web 3. So we call this as delta. How bigger the delta is basically decides what exactly the user would choose. From a user perspective, there is not much of a difference for them whether it's a Web 2 or a Web 3 application. For them, the use case has to be really amazing. And how ICP will have the major chunk of that will depend on what we are doing right now. This is why we're vouching out to people who are the smartest brains in this country, and also among the smartest people in this world, I would say. So if we can have more people coming into ICP ecosystem, the best brains, building the best dApps, then definitely the users would be incentivized enough to move from Web 2 to Web 3, and in Web 3 ecosystem also more on the ICP blockchain. So the whole basically the purpose of having these sessions to encourage people, giving them grants, luring them into building more like dApps and Web3 is this, that if we have the best brains building on ICP, the users will automatically follow them. So I think this is not only the challenge with ICP, it's challenge with all the Web3 ecosystem, all the L1s. Right now, every L1 is basically trying to compete with Web2 space. So they have to migrate the user from Web 2 to Web 3. And for that, as I said, gas fees has to literally go out of the window. Data storage problem should get solved. So ICP is also building their ecosystem in such a way that the gas fees is not a concern, data storage is not a concern, but at the same time, they have the best brains building the next generation dApps so that users should be incentivized enough to come into the ecosystem. So tomorrow Shivam can build one such DApp, which would be way better than what, like, as you would have seen with Chat GPT also. In last 6 months, Chat GPT has almost uh, I think caught the imagination of every user out there. A lot of people have stopped using Google now, and they are very active on Chat GTP or GPT. A lot of people, I would say, every day, a lot of surprising examples come in front of me. People whom I would not have even imagined are using Chat GPT for writing their projects, for doing n number of things. And Google certainly is finding itself jobless at the moment. So it's the user experience, it's the user incentivization which has to be so huge that users should automatically shift from Web 2 to Web 3. That's the bigger challenge instead of having them on ICP. First of all, we have to shift users from Web 2 to Web 3. Then in Web 3 Pi also, ICP would want that they should be like the next big thing.
Yes, sir, got it.
Any other
Sir,
questions? Anything?
sir, as you have mentioned about the 200 million grant pool, so how we can avail like a check you said from that grant?
So, should I take it? Yeah. So, Naman, if you want to take the best out of this opportunity, what you have to do is, you can be, start with the community thing. So once you are part of the community, then you can learn the development. It will take you 45 to 60 days to learn the development part. And once you are a developer with the IT, you are well versed with the ICT ecosystem, then you can intermingle with the ideas. For example, if you have some ideas in the mind, you can obviously connect with me or Deepak sir if you want to discuss your idea, and then definitely we can guide you through. Once you're ready with your idea, then we can give you something called as the fellowship program. So we'll give you some fellowship money. So fellowship money would be like $1,000 a month or $500 a month, right? For 2 3 months, right? In these 2 3 months, you will create your product. You know. So once you're ready with your product and once you're ready with your team, then we will give you initial grant. It can be of $50,000, which is approximately 40 45 lakhs, right? And with this 40 45 lakhs, you will build your product. Product market fit. And once you have got the product market fit, then you can apply for a bigger grant, which can be 100K, 200K, 500K. 500K is approximately 4 CR. And with this funding, we'll also connect you with our VC consortium, and that VC consortium can, help you with the raise funding. Do you understand about VC consortium? So VC consortium is group of VCs who particularly invest in particular ecosystem, right? So we'll get you in touch with the VC consortium, and then you can raise a round of $2 million, and different VCs can take part in it. So that would be your journey, starting from a developer or creating your team as an entrepreneur, and then moving towards the fellowship, and then from fellowship to dev grant, from dev grant to proper bigger grant, and then from bigger grant to VC consortium. So that would be your journey as an entrepreneur, and we would love to help you at every part of this. So that's
Sounds
the
great.
core of it. I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
Next question.
Sir, as a developer point of view, are we limited to an operating system for developing like new contracts, like for Linux or something that is preferred in this space?
No, Ayush. You're not limited to the operating system. You're not even limited to the internet thing. So ICP doesn't even rely on the storage, data centers or on the domains itself. So in terms of OS also, they are completely fluid. You can use on Linux, you can use on Windows, you can use it on Mac. So anything that you are using, you'll find the ecosystem there, and you will definitely work with it. So OS would not be a limiting factor in that case. You are developing.
I'll also like to add to this. Like we are running a fast-paced cohort for selected lot of students. With like around 40 students from 20 different colleges right now, and today they are having their first class. It's parallelly running right now. So it started at 8 p.m. And by 14th they have to basically deploy their HTML websites on ICP. So they'll be deploying their websites, which will be explaining about them. It'll be their social media page, as you would say. basic information about them, and they'll be deploying it on ICP on, I think, next 4 to 5 days. So it will be their first step forward. So where they would not be even requiring any AWS or GoDaddy server for that, and they'll be straight away deploying
And
that ICP.
and we are sending all these profiles to the global team of ICB. So definitely your resume will sit on the desk on the global team of ICB who are like running on the billions of dollars. And
Okay.
this is a great opportunity to be get picked from here. So
Yes.
I think the students still don't know this. Even when I don't know this yet.
Yes, yes, because students, we have not shared it with students. We just asked them to deploy their websites, like basic information about them, their resume, their social media handles, and they have to deploy it on ICP. But the global ICP team would be looking forward to this, and they'll be evaluating students also for future grants and stuff. So it's not open yet to the students. So this is what I'm saying. Like it's a parallel ecosystem altogether. So it's not dependent on the main internet. It is building their own internet parallel to what it is right now. So tomorrow, if AWS decides to switch it off, it should not be impacted at all.
Sir, if you're like joining from now on, won't be late. Like one session is already over today.
No
It's
issues with
about
that.
the first class, yeah. At least I believe we can give you a recommendation to Vinayak sir, and definitely he can take it forward. If you
People,
qualify for it, then you can definitely catch up. One class is not a big issue. It's just
yes,
an
yes.
introductory class.
And for
Okay.
students who are not yet into blockchain development and they really want to get into it, we are starting a cohort on 15th of this month, also June. It will be from very elementary basics. So it will be as basic as starting learning about HTML, CSS, and from there onwards, in next 6 to 8 weeks, they'll be deploying their apps on ICP. So even the basic cohort, the elementary cohort, is also starting from 15th. At this fast, and majority of the students would be there. And whatever we are going to do, all the learnings, everything will be totally free of cost. Students don't have to pay anything. And along with that, Bandul sir has been able to crack a solid deal recently, and I would like him to share that initiative also with the students.
Sure. So we were in talks with a company called Pratika. It's a US-based company, and they are like the leaders in dev cohort. And their one cohort costs $5,000. For every from students from all around the world can participate, and it will cost you $5,000. Now we have asked them that we will send 100 students from ICP India Hub, and all of this cost will be covered by ICP. So we will be giving 100 scholarships from of the Pratika dev cohort where students will get this $5,000, that is 4 lakh rupees cohort for free as a scholarship from the ICP India. So definitely it will be beneficial for all of you because we have a community of like 700, 800 people at this point of time, and these uh, uh, 100 students out of these 800 students will get this scholarship for free with ICP India Hub. And then you can interact with a lot of thought leaders, a lot of QAs, a lot of developers from around the world, and then you can definitely build a strong ecosystem for your.
So these 100 students would be across all the campuses, like not just from one campus. So it will be 100 students from all the campuses we've been interacting with. And those 100 students, those who will be doing something significant, they will get this $5,000 of cohort totally free of cost. Like entire cost would be covered by ICP only. So Petrica, it's a very good company. It's a very strong company in US, and this will be a great opportunity for them. This is also one of the opportunities that ICP would be able to unlock, along with all the other things that they'll be doing. And we've been talking to a lot of people to further incentivize the students with a lot of other things also. Like this thing happened just the last week for us, and we've been in talks with a lot of people, and even with ICP also. And aim also would be to attract the major chunk of that $220 million grant for Indian students, depending on what kind of response we get from the students also. Because like we've not been active about hackathons also so far, because initial few projects coming out of India Hub should be top notch, because that sets the benchmark, and that also sets a certain image about blockchain in general, about India in general. Because if initial few projects are good, strong, then ICP will always have that preset mindset about Indian students that anything coming out of India is going to be great. So that is why for few initial projects we are very skeptical, and we would be pushing some good, strong projects only, so that at least they should have a strong opinion about Indian students. And once the wheel sets into motion, then it will become more and more generic also for the students. But for the initial few projects, definitely we would want that some sincere effort should go into it. Them and ICP Global should also have a very strong opinion about Indian students, like very strong positive opinion about the Indian students. Like whatever comes from India has to be good. This is the kind of notion we want to set among all the global ICP people. So this is the community link, what Bandul sir has shared. You can join this community. It's a generic community. The fast-paced cohort is a more interview-based cohort. So we will be like connecting all the students who've already been into blockchain development with Vinayak sir, and he'll be able to decide that based on the 5 to 10 minutes of intro call. And students who will be joining this community will be doing a small airdrop also of 100 rupees ICP tokens, so that you can at least start playing around with the ICP ecosystem. For this, you have to download the Me wallet. It's on the next slide. And I can share it. This is the Me wallet. It's on Android as well as on iOS. So once you've been able to download the Me wallet, you have to basically drop the address of your wallet on the community group itself. So those will be dropping their addresses on the community. Will be doing an airdrop of 100 rupees ICP token. So, and you can keep the token, and you can burn it also for exploring the ecosystem. And you never know, if tomorrow ICP becomes really big, this 100 rupees worth of token can become substantially huge.
So let's share both these QRs in other groups as well after the meet.
Yeah, why not? Please go ahead. Just make sure that only the relevant students should come in, because it should not be that students just join it for the sake of it. If you want to be a part of blockchain community, only they should be looking forward to this, because that will be important, so that we are able to maintain the sanity of the group also. It shouldn't be like that students start discussing about their maybe other ventures also, other discussions also, maybe about their love life, whatever. So it should not be like this. It should not become a generic community. It should be more specific to blockchain.
So I've shared the link in the chat section as well. You can join from the chat section, and I've also shared it with on our coaching discussion group, so that you can forward it with your community. And if you want to download the wallet, this is the wallet, and then once wallet, you will have this receive option. Then post this receive address on the group itself, and we'll airdrop some tokens to you, as the user has already. So that's it. A very simplistic approach. Please feel free to go ahead.
And honestly speaking, it's a lovely experience. And as I said at the beginning of the discussion itself, based on whatever I've interacted, we find that the culture in IIT Dhanbad is very strong when it comes to blockchain, and only handful of campuses across the country can boast about that kind of a culture. And hats off to you people, and hats off to your seniors also, who've been encouraging you all to deep dive into this space, and really looking forward to this, and really would love to take this initiative forward, and will be really I would say grateful if we could actually contribute to the success of the students coming out of this ecosystem. So you can join the community, and you can also download the Me wallet and can drop your addresses on that group.
Okay, guys, it was great interacting with you. Really loved the interaction, really loved the enthusiasm of the students. The questions were very great, and looking forward for the more activities. I personally believe that out of the 60 students who joined the session, we should get at least 20 good developers and 20 good entrepreneurs out of this. And we will be more than happy to fund and help all those entrepreneurs with various things and various opportunities that come to our hand. And we would definitely love to pass the light their light torch to the next generation, like you were doing based on your.
Thanks a lot, everyone, and really looking forward to this. And best of luck. So,
Thank you so much, sir. It was a great session with you.
Thank you,
same.
Naman. Thank,
And
thank you, Shivam. Thank you, Naman. Thank you, everybody, for joining in.
and we really promise that we'll be there in person also once the colleges become active again after the vacation, and we would love to. And we will come to the campus, and I think we'll be by that time already. They will have significant presence of ICP in IIT Dhanbad. Really wish forward to this.
So can we take a snap of the meet?
Yeah, why
I've
not?
already taken few.
I request everyone to kindly switch on their camera so that we can take a picture.
Hello. Hi, Deepak sir. Hello.
Hello. Yes,
Hi,
I.
hi sir. Are you sir? Sir, when can we expect you to come to campus, sir? When can we expect you to come to campus, sir?
Yeah, as soon as the online like the vacations end, I think because what we have experienced, like building this bond with the students become much easier once we are there in person. So as soon as the colleges come live again, I think we will be there because we have to cover all the colleges in person for sure.
Yes, sir.
Looking forward to it, sir.
Same here, same here. Look, I've not been able to go to IIT Delhi also so far because there the majors ended so quickly. I think they ended around 9th of May. And even the online event is on 14th of June. So with because like and to be honest, I would love to go to IIT Delhi also. This is something which has been a part of me for so many years now, and same would be the case with IIT Dhanbad. So as soon as colleges come live again, we'll be there for sure. I think we can switch off the sharing part, Bandhu sir. Then we can have more people in the screen itself. So I think the majority of the students are already back home, right? So hardly anybody choose to stay back these days, right? COVID has changed the norms. At our time, like when I finished my first year, I chose to stay back voluntarily. Had nothing to do, to be honest. The only thing I used to do at that time was like used to go to playing fields and stuff, and used to play around during the evening time. And during the daytime, the best part was that internet was free. And at that time, IIT by some distance had the best internet. Like IIT Delhi, they had their own lease line also, their own entire 100 Mbps setup. It was huge for that time, not something which is uh, rare these days. But you have to think about 2005, 18 years back, when I just completed my first year. At that time, having high-speed internet was a luxury,
Yes,
huge
sir.
luxury. I think it's good. So really
Okay,
looking
guys.
forward to take this forward. And please join the group and please share your addresses also so that we can do the airdrop by tomorrow.
Okay, sir.
Those who are already those who are already into blockchain development, please get in touch with Naman so that we can schedule a call with Vinayak sir and can see if some of you can actually be a part of that fast-paced cohort also.
Right.
Thank you.
Sure,
Thanks a
sir.
lot.
Okay, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.